Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting of the Council and Committee of the Town of Petawawa to order for December 8th, 2025. Welcome to members of council, staff, and all of our special guests who are with us here this evening. We'll begin this evening's meeting with the reading of the land acknowledgement, and this evening it's Councillor Coutu.
Thank you, Mayor Service. As we gather this evening, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of Petawawa Town Council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Omama-Winini Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Omama-Winini people and express our respect and support for their rich history. We are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years, and we wish to acknowledge our shared responsibilities in responding to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission 94 calls to action. Call to action number 79. We call upon the federal government in collaboration with survivors, Aboriginal organizations, and the arts community to develop a reconciliation framework for Canadian heritage and commemoration. Recent progress. Parks Canada continues to engage directly with Indigenous organizations and communities through meetings and gatherings to discuss approaches to respectful commemoration and to identify new nominations related to commemorating the legacy of residential schools.
Thank you. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest on any of this evening's matters? Seeing none, we'll get right to the very special part of this evening's meeting. I'd like to welcome two very special guests this evening. With us this evening are Inspector Steph Neufeld, the current detachment commander of the Upper Ottawa Valley Detachment of the OPP, as well as Staff Sergeant Dara is with us as well this evening. So thank you for joining us this evening. And before we get to the formal part of our ceremony, I'd like to ask Inspector Neufeld if he'd like to give us a brief update on the comings and goings of the OPP in 2025.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and good evening, members of council and guests. And it is my sincere privilege to speak to you as your detachment commander for the last time. I would like to formally recognize Staff Sergeant Sarah Dara, who will be taking over as the interim detachment commander starting a week today. I feel it's very noteworthy to mention that in 2024, the OPP celebrated 50 years of women in policing, which is a significant milestone for us as an organization, and I think it only fitting that in 1 week's time, Sarah Dara will become the first female detachment commander for Petawawa Valley. So well done, Sarah. Although not a formal year in review report, which will be drafted by Sarah for the new year, I do want to let the council know what the commissioner has identified as priorities for the OPP in 2026. Number one, and this is not speaking specifically to our detachment, this is as a province. However, these were the priorities that he has identified for the OPP for every detachment commander. So it will be a priority for every detachment commander in the new year. Number one, everybody's favorite, traffic. I like to say 2026 is going to be the year of the ticket. If we could go back to our results in 2020, which we know was COVID, believe it or not, our traffic stats have steadily declined, not just Upper Ottawa Valley, province-wide, year after year after year since COVID started. Conversely, again, knocking on wood, fatalities across the province have steadily gone up in that time. So a direct correlation, tickets down, fatalities up. The commissioner said, that is it. That is it. 2026, and I can say this having been around almost 31 years, every couple of years, traffic sort of comes back to the forefront. 2026 is one of those years. There's no way about it. So Acting Inspector Dara will have a very robust traffic plan for Upper Petawawa Valley. It will be all hands on deck. It will be very clear expectations to all the members that this is what is expected of you. Now, again, going back to the, and I've mentioned this at our detachment board meetings, it's not a question of somebody's complaining about speeding on Herman Street or what's one of our
Radke Road.
Radke Road. We have to have our officers in the right place at the right time for the right reasons. If speeding is happening early morning hours between 6 and 8, I don't want to send an officer there at 3 o'clock who sits there for an hour and says, no cars went by and nobody was speeding. We have to be strategic with our resources. That is where we're going to leverage our technology that we have at our disposal to make sure that the officers are scheduled for the right locations at the right time. When I say traffic, we are focusing on the big four, which is the stuff that kills people, right? It's the excessive speeds, it's the seatbelt misuse, the distracted driving, and the impaired. I can say that we've already started a very robust ride strategy starting in December. Festive Ride is launched now, but it was pre-ride. We started right out of the gate. We're going to start getting officers' heads wrapped around the whole traffic piece that this is going to be your priority for the next year. So we've already, our stats, not just for Petawawa, but for Upper Petawawa Valley, 173% increase from last year already. So we're already well on our way, and the results are starting to come in as well, unfortunately, as we know they're all out there. The ride checks are not, there's a PR piece to that as well. The ride checks are to send a message to all drivers not to drink and drive. I mean, if we catch impaired drivers doing a ride check, that's just a bonus. The purpose of the ride check, the main, is to send that message. Don't drink and drive. It's for the sober drivers coming home and saying, oh, geez, the cops are out here. You know what? I was going to that party on Saturday night. You know what? I better be extra careful and not drink and drive. That is the main message of the ride check, is getting that message out there. So the results have already started to trickle in as far as the ride check. So 2026 traffic, year of the ticket. The next priority that the commissioner has identified is data integrity. So people are like, data integrity, what is that? Well, that is making sure that we are making sure that we, when I do my report back to the municipalities and to the council and to the detachment boards, that we are accurately reflecting the work that is being done in your community. So when the officers do their, we have to do a daily activity report, which explains it's entries that these are the calls for service that I did during the day. Here's how I spent my day, and here's what I did, and here's the follow-up that I did, and then you submit that. So we have, and I'm guilty of it too, not always being as accurate as we should be when we do those reports. Now, there are some officers that are, I don't want to say like grossly inaccurate with their reports, but some officers are not as tight as they should be. So I try to give the example to officers when, if you go to Canadian Tire and you fill up a grocery cart and you go to the cash, would you let the cashier, as they scan the items, decide the price? Yeah, that's about $20. Yeah, that's about $25. You wouldn't do that. Well, no, the price is $9, not $25. So compare that to our daily activity report. This is the bill. This is how we are billing our municipalities for the work you are doing in the municipality. But you wouldn't create a fake receipt for the municipality. You wouldn't let Canadian Tire make a fake receipt for your purchases. We need to be tighter with the work you are doing. So when we present this to the officers, we have what's called a badge, and I presented that at our last detachment board meeting. The badge is a reflection of there's key items that the officers have to be doing each day, each block of shifts throughout the course of the year. And babe, did you have a photo of it? Yes. Oh, I thought you were holding it. I thought she was holding it. I was like, oh, I've actually got a picture of it. That's the prepared detachment command. I typical day for an officer, there's going to be calls for service. A typical day for an officer, there's going to be admin work. A typical day for an officer, there's going to be, there's an expectation that there's going to be community engagement. There's an expectation that there's going to be proactive work, speeding on Radke Road, whatever. Over the course of the day, that's a typical day for an officer. The days, and I can say this having been around almost 31 years, the days where you were just tossed a set of keys and you were a ghost all day and did whatever you wanted, that's over. Officers are going to be a lot more structured, a lot more, their days are going to be more planned. Part of that planning, a 12-hour day, well, we're 3 to 4 of those hours. Our expectation, her expectations are there's going to be traffic enforcement, there's going to be foot patrols in the schools, there's going to be community engagement. If there's an event like a pride event, there's going to be officers at the events. Their days are going to be a lot more structured than what they typically are. So that's starting to condition officers to this is what's happening in the new year. We talked about making sure that we have the best schedule to align with calls for service. I hate saying going back in the day. So back in the day, when we used to work 10-hour shifts, we'd have a day shift, we'd have afternoons, we'd have nights, and there was overlap to match the peak calls for service, which have not changed in 31 years. 3:30ish to about 9 o'clock is when calls for service peak, and that's when we have to have the maximum amount of officers. That has not changed for 31 years, to be clear, but our schedule has never really aligned. And then we went to 12 hours. So what we were going to be doing is we were introducing, sorry, I keep saying we. Interim Inspector Sarah Dara is going to be introducing a swing shift. So we're going to have officers starting at 12, we're going to have officers starting at 3 to maximize the number of officers we have working at peak periods. Now, what that is going to allow or afford us to do is reduce the amount of overtime that sort of creeps in when officers finish at 6 o'clock. Oh, I had to stay an extra 30 minutes to finish this report. I had to stay an extra hour to make sure I got everything cleaned up at this one call for service. The intention is to start seeing that diminish as we have swing shift officers say, well, you know what? You don't have to stay at that call. I'll take that over. That's something that the sergeants will be mentored and again conditioned to, hey, you know what? There's officers that shouldn't be on the road at 5:45. Tell them to hustle back to the office. You're off duty, and the swing shift officer will take that over. So it'll be a benefit to make sure that we have the maximum number of officers at peak periods, as well as the fringe benefit to us is an overtime reduction. That's what we're going to be tracking. Any questions so far? Sorry, I might have rambled through that a little too fast. The next one is going to be the development of our future leaders. And I'm sitting next to one of them right now. We have not always been the best at ensuring a healthy and robust succession plan for lots of positions within the OPP. That is something that we have clearly identified as we need to be more prepared. We have a lot of senior leaders that are eligible, and I'll point at myself, that can walk out the door tomorrow, basically. We have definitely started developing our future leaders with training. We have which never existed before. We have a detachment commander course. We have an operations manager course. We have sergeant training. Before it was just kind of learned as you go and hope for the best, which is not always great. You make some certain mistakes and you learn from them. But now there's an actual opportunity where there's mentorship. There's opportunities for detachment, well, for any leader to identify, and that is something I've always thought should be our role. Is you can tell over the course of 8 years, I've seen plenty of recruits come in to the Upper Ottawa Valley Detachment, and I do my one-on-ones with them. And there's some that I say, you know what, they're gonna be fine. They'll get through and they'll meet. And then there's others that this is going to be a rock star. Like, and they are, like, right out of the gate, you can tell they're absolutely incredible. They are doing amazing work in our communities as we speak. I've seen recruits when I started 8 years ago that are now, I'll say, seasoned investigators handling significant criminal investigations in our communities. Like, it's really quite something to see, and that's also the beauty of having been around for so long in this detachment is you get to see the progression, you get to see the progress and celebrate their successes. So that is a very quick and hurried explanation of what the commissioner spoke about at our detachment commander conference. So any questions about what Sarah's job is going to be?
Any questions from members of council? No, do you have any further updates or information for us?
No, but if I could, if you, your worship, you could indulge me, I do want to offer a short word of thanks and gratitude to the council, to James as the detachment board chair, to yourself, your worship, and Don, who's been there since the beginning. And bless her heart, Trina LeMay, she took a chance on a young detachment commander, and I hope I didn't let her down because she put me through the hoops there at the interview. I won't lie. She was the only interviewee who sat there, didn't take a single note, but made me talk for about an hour and had all these questions, and I sure tried to do my best, and I hope I didn't let her down, and I hope I didn't let the town down. This has been an amazing opportunity, and I am sincerely grateful to have represented you as your detachment commander, and it was a privilege, and I say privilege, to have served you. And I hope that I take all the lessons that I've learned as detachment commander and apply them to my new role, and I am very confident, because I know the commissioner made this a priority to identify future leaders, that Acting Inspector Sarah Darrell will do an even better job. So all that to say, thank you so much. It has been an absolute privilege to have worked, and I say with you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for the update and for your kind words. That brings us to the special part of our evening. And just before I get into that, I just want to congratulate Staff Sergeant Darrow on being appointed interim inspector.
Thank you.
For the Upper Ottawa Valley OPP detachment. We're looking forward to working with you for hopefully many years to come. So welcome aboard. But we're here this evening to recognize the 8 years of Inspector Neufeld here as the detachment commander of the Upper Ottawa Valley OPP, and to thank you for all of your years of service. And I think we'll start off by allowing Councillor Carmody as the chair of the detachment board to start us off with a few words.
Thank you, Mayor Service. Superintendent Neufeld. It's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it? It has been my privilege to work with you for most of your tenure here at Upper Ottawa Valley. You are someone who carries a deep sense of compassion for others and shows unwavering commitment to the communities you serve. In the early days of our working together, I remember discussing with you the possibility of moving our meeting times to better suit your busy schedule. You assured me that our meetings were the most important part of your schedule. And that simple comment spoke volumes. As detachment commander, one of your greatest priorities has always been the health and well-being of those you work with. You had more than an open door policy, you encouraged discussion. It is traits like these that have made you a sought after leader, a person that others are happy to follow and aspire to emulate. I think the OPP has made a great choice in you as a superintendent. So congratulations on your new position. and all the best moving forward. And Staff Sergeant Darrell, welcome to your new position. Very much looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Carmody. Well, it's hard to follow that up, but it's obvious that in your appointment as Superintendent of East Region Operations for the OPP, they've made a wise choice. And I'm sure they've done their due diligence and ensured that they picked the proper candidate. We here on Petawawa, on behalf of the council and all of the residents here, we truly want to thank you for the 8 years, the leadership that you've given us, the leadership that you provided your detachment. You've helped make Petawawa one of the safest communities in all of Ontario for the 8 years that you've been here. So for that, we and all of our residents truly thank you for making our community such a safe place to live. And I know that you asked us not to do anything big, but that's not how we roll here in Petawawa. So we wanted to make sure we sent you off the right way. But I'd just like to comment on the year of the ticket upcoming in 2026. I guess it will be without speed radar or photo radar. It'll just be officers out there doing their duty.
It will be without.
Okay, so Inspector Neufeld, if I could ask you to just join Councillor Carmody, Deputy Mayor Sadler, and I over here by the flagpole. We'd like to send you off properly with some gifts from the town of Petawawa.
Please send that to me, Colin. Can you send it to me, please? Thank you.
We hope if it doesn't fit, we can get it.
We're going to start with the smaller of the gifts, but we know that you could probably wear this underneath your shirts and wear it with pride and wear it often so that you can tell people where you came from and remind us. Thank you so much.
Inspector, it's been a privilege. And that's a beautiful, nice Petawawa photo that you.
That'll look great in my new office.
There we go. Perfect.
Thank you. Oh,
What gift?
and
I'll do one of you.
Yeah, I'll do one of you.
Thanks so much.
You can sense there's a theme here. We're making sure that wherever you go, they're gonna know you came from Petawawa. Congratulations on your special certificate for you here. We'll put it. Okay. And a special town of Petawawa.
Lovely, thank you so much. That'll great on the desk.
Yeah, so thank you again and best of luck in your new role.
Thank you very much, it's been a privilege.
Now. Okay, now we get it.
now I don't know how you want
Rather-
to.
Part of the gift,
Yeah.
part of the gift.
Did you want
I don't know what's the gift.
to? That's not good.
Here we go.
Okay. Look out. That's Christine, what her name is.
Katie Clark.
Katie Clark. Our original Petawawa. Okay, congratulations again, and thank you so much for joining us here this evening.
Thank you so much. It's been a privilege. I don't have the words. Thank you so much. It's been an honor. Thank you.
So we have about another hour and a half of non-stop excitement planned. We don't expect you to hang around for that. So we'll give you a couple of minutes to
Thank you so much.
exit stage left. Enjoy your last week here in the valley.
Yes.
Thank you.
The cell number will not be changing, so please stay in touch.
Would you like some assistance?
I will. Just grab that. That'd be great. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything, everybody.
Have a great Christmas, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Keep well and safe. It's gonna feel better.
It keeps banging off the desk. Okay. Now we'll carry on with the rest of our meeting. First up, we have the Fire and Emergency Services Report for the month of November, and we'll invite Acting Deputy Chief Knott. Guest starring. It's your report.
Thank you, Mayor Service, members of council. That's a hard act to follow. I don't think it's going to be as exciting. So I'm going to present to you our activity report for information for the month of November. I'll start off with the fire chief's comments. November 5th, acting fire chief Crew attended a senior management meeting. On the 10th, acting fire chief Crew did exercise planning with emergency management group. On the week of the 17th, acting fire chief Crew and myself attended the annual general meeting of the Ontario Association of Fire Chiefs in Niagara Falls, which was my first time, and it was very beneficial. It was a real eye-opener to work with other fire chiefs and get their take on stuff, so it was very beneficial. In terms of incidents, mostly they're all minor incidents throughout the month of November. Most were fire alarms. We had 7 fire alarms that occurred on Samantha Street, Stephen Street, Heritage Drive, a couple on Victoria Street, Murphy Road, and Rankin Crescent. Happy to report most of these were taken care of by public assist crews, so personnel hours were down on those ones. Moving into carbon monoxide alarms, we had 3 of them in November, one on Sandstone, one on Rands, and one on Petawawa Boulevard. Once again, taken care of by mostly our public assist crew, unless it was during the daytime. We had a smell of smoke on Victoria Street, but was taken care of by our public assist personnel, 3 personnel, and 1 hydrant line down on Black Bay Road, also taken care of by the public assist crew, and 1 fire, which turned out to be a minor fire, which was a kettle that was extinguished prior to our crews arriving. In terms of training, it was a pretty heavy month for training, a very exciting month for our crews for training as they conducted their annual live fire evolutions. So our crews got to experience live fire and they were introduced to fire behavior for some of them, learned fire behavior, get to see it actually happen, and then work on suppression techniques. So that was very beneficial, and we're going to be continuing that every year. We also had some specialty training, and this goes along with the certification process that we've been conducting for the last couple of years. We had 3 personnel, 3 officers, take the NFPA 1021 Fire Officer Level 1 course. That was a blended course. As you can see, there was a lot of hours put into that, a lot of online, and then there was actual in-person training that was conducted. So that's brought our officers up. If they succeeded with that, brings our officers up to that certification level. In terms of maintenance, minor maintenance, repaired oil leak on 9623, some engine diagnostics were repaired. In terms of buildings, a window that was between our bay area and the classroom was repaired thanks to Ben and his crew. And that was more of like a health and safety issue to prevent fumes and stuff and fire break from the classroom. The heating unit maintenance was completed at Station 2, and then we had a couple of exterior doors that were not so good shape. They were replaced. Our extractor equipment, or extrication, sorry, that should say extrication equipment, did its yearly maintenance, and we're all good on that. In terms of fire prevention, there's some late entries from October, 13 of them. And then moving into November, it was, as you can see, a very full month when it came to our inspections. 42 inspections were done, mostly on commercial businesses. For our carbon monoxide smoke alarm inspections, in November, fire prevention completed 7. Our fire suppression crews completed 9, and with our recreational permits, 5 for a total of 21 were completed for a total of 280 for the year. In terms of recreational fire permits, so at the end of October, we tend to shut down our permit recreational permit process, so those numbers obviously go down. But we had 1, and I believe that was an open air permit that was put in. So it brought our total up to 919 permits. And that is my report for the month of November.
Thank you.
Questions?
Any questions from members of council on the report? Nice quiet month for once. That's good. Okay, if there are no questions, I need a motion to accept the report. Moved by Councillor Ruth, seconded by Councillor Coutu, that the Fire and Emergency Services monthly activity report be accepted as information. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. You got off lucky. Let's hope you have the same luck with the budget. Is there anything you want to tell us about the budget?
Thank you. Yeah, we are on track with our budget. We're moving in towards the end of the year. We do have most of expenditure over the last month were just operational, some minor operational expenditures. There is a couple of outstanding items that are presently happening right now that are a bit larger in amount. But in terms of where we're sitting at the top of the finance, we're still in good shape.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see if you only spent 50% of your budget at the end of the year. But I doubt that's going to happen. Are there any questions about the budget? Then we'll receive that as information. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Recreation, Culture, and Tourism. And Colin Doyle, it's your report. Monthly activity for November.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, here with November's report for Council to accept as information. Over the course of November, there was several different meetings. We had our first Seniors Advisory meeting after the National Seniors Day. We have a very excited committee. Everyone's really impressed on how well that went and already keen to looking forward to next year's events and show that planning off soon. I was able to sit down with admin staff to review and update as we move forward with some of our allocation policies, which I'll be bringing forward to council in the new year, revising some of the policies for field allocations, hockey allocations, so on and so forth. They just need and require an update to catch up where we are. Shallon and Rhiannon had an opportunity to meet with the Petawawa Legion for the Seniors Community Grant on collaborations working with different seniors groups. So that's just another opportunity to work off the present grant that we are working on right now. I had a chance to meet with the Ontario Highlands Tourism Organization, an open house that they hosted at the Best Western. Another opportunity is the same grant. Shallon and Rhiannon met with the Veteran Family Program Coordinator for collaboration events there and programs. Also on November 20th, I was meeting with the Courrier de Bois to add a running event to the Water and Dirt Festival. So the planning is starting for that. And then on November 25th, Shallon and Joe had met with a Child and Youth Program Coordinator from the PMFRC to look at partnerships and opportunity for youth and programming there as well. We'll continue on. You can see from the information for the programs we've offered, we continue to have successful programs over the course of the month with sold out programs, including the PA Day class and a new pottery workshop that we're able to host, as well as the very long list of both active aging and programs that are at Silver Thread. So you can see some of the unique programs like the Healthcare Lunch and Learn, Intro to Boxing, Craft drafting it forward, and the mystery lunch, which went over really well, as well as we continue to see growth in eccentrics and stronger U programming, which staff are now obtaining additional exercise-based programs to further offer at Silver Threads. As far as the rental activity, we're on par with 290 hours of ice time, 123 hours of banquet time, hall rentals, and continued on from there. These are continuous from year after year. We are a very busy facility with, I don't know if we could exceed these hours, just I don't know if there's enough time in the day to keep on going unless we're going to have hockey at 2 in the morning. As far as tourism, we were at the conference for the Ottawa Valley Tourism Conference held at, sorry, it wasn't Whitewater Brewing, but it was Riverside. We were there. And then additionally, I have just completed, after a long process, our Experience Ontario grant, which is finalized and the final grant was submitted. That would have been about just short of $3,000 that went into various ramble events. And then again, another ODO meeting that was a webinar. And then last but not least, as far as water and dirt, I know it's a long ways away, but the planning is already long into phase, and what we have here is 18 events, and we're probably looking at now, since the report, we're probably getting close to 20, and that's going to be our cap for this year. So there's new partnerships with Bonashire Park and Kilden Haggerty Richards, and I'm in the midst of finalizing with another added municipality. And as far as upcoming in the next couple of months, I am currently working on a Petawawa Point revitalization plan. This will take the plan that was initially put together years ago and putting it down into tangible, smaller sections. I know the initial one was about $4 million. I know that's not a reality. So we're looking at putting in new shade structures, activities, event space down at the point, and sort of turning that over a 5-year plan. So I'll be bringing forward that in the new year as well. I'm also currently working on a trail strategy. So that will take not only locations like the maps or trails that we have or new trails, but it'll also include paddling trails, cycling trails. So this will be a much wider strategy plan that will be done by the department instead of going out to an outside organization. I'm also completing with the Seniors Advisory Committee a seniors community guide that will have information for seniors about the different services and programs that will be available here in Petawawa and the surrounding areas. And then last but not least, I'm finalizing a tourism guide that's aimed at the local businesses. They'll have a resource guide that they can flip through to have the questions right there while they have people in their stores or hotels, so they can have all the resources instead of trying to Google the right information. They'll have something right there for them to use with their with the retailers coming in. And that is the report for November. If there's any questions.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Good to see a partnership with Garrison and their children's programming, because we've often been duplicating services, and perhaps this is a great way, I think, to expand the membership and the number of kids that we get into programs. So hopefully that all works out. I just have a concern about these seniors boxing. I hope they're not hitting each other, but hitting a punching bag.
Not yet. It's more just an exercise program than anything. Unless you wanted to join.
No, that's okay. Questions from members of council? Deputy Mayor Savage.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And yes, I echo what the mayor said in regards to the collaboration with the veterans and children and family programs that build capacity and stretch dollars and better meet the needs. So well done to you guys. And I'd also like to say I'm looking very forward to seeing the Petawawa Point revitalization strategy update. It's a gem in our community. It's got lots of features, but we can certainly do a little bit better. And yeah, that report was a long time ago, but yeah, I'm sure it'll be really good for the community. And I guess more importantly, combining those who want to just go and enjoy the beach, those who boat, those who want to enjoy other features. It's a great resource, so can't wait to see that. Thanks, Colin.
Councillor Bruce.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I totally agree with the revitalization down the point for sure. And I like to hear all about that collaboration for sure. That's very, very important. Busy schedule, amazing schedule. There's something in this that you have done for every age group in the town. So you're very good work there, you and your group. The outdoor rink, any update with the outdoor rink? Any plans? What type of shape are we in down there? What's that looking like?
That will be a Ted first.
Thank you. I'll be waiting for that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Carney.
Thank you, Mayor Service. Thanks for the report, Colin. Trail strategy, great. Like I like the sound of the upcoming work. Petawawa Point revitalization plan, perfect. Let's keep her to 6 digits, so 6 figures. that would be helpful. Speaking of Petawawa Point, one thing, like that report was a long time ago, probably 10, 12 years ago, maybe. And but one thing that was a big concern around that time was delta formation at Petawawa Point, like in that area. And there were several reports on that, and I think we had a professional in to tell us about it anyway at one point. But then it seems to have quietened it down for the last couple of years. Anything new in that department?
I think there's many components to that. As we start to move forward with some of those items, whether we're trying to change water flow, and it's all going to matter on how much is coming down the Petawawa River. All that sediment, as you can see, if you look at some of the photos behind me, that island didn't really exist. So as the town developed and more movement was on the river, then that meant sediment was coming down the river, which started to hold that. So the plan won't address water and dredging or anything like that. It'll be revitalizing just the beach. If we need to get to the point where we really need to take a look at that's something we're going to have to bring in professionals, but this strategy will be what myself and some of the other departments within the town can do without bringing in consultants.
Further questions of the report? All right, it sounds like everybody's looking forward to all of your upcoming work in 2026. Hopefully we can fit it all in the budget. Okay, if everybody's satisfied, I need a motion to accept. Moved by Deputy Mayor Sabrin, seconded by Councillor Carmody, that the Recreation, Culture and Tourism Monthly Activity Report be accepted as information. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. And now, do you have anything you'd like to share with your budget, Colin?
So just a quick follow-up from the last meeting. We're still in areas where, as far as revenues, we've hit our mark and exceeded them in a few like hall rentals, outdoor rentals, outdoor programs. So we're hoping we can keep going with that because there's still a little bit of year left. In working with the finance department, there's a couple of areas that we're still going to work on. And I've had discussions with Laura to address things where it appears that we're over budget in things like program salaries, training and associations. What we found is, unfortunately, just some of the things like canteen staff went into programming staff. A couple of other items that are still sort of carryover from when the department was community services. So I'm working with finance to sort of adjust the funds where they need to go, and that should help us to come across with an even budget.
Questions on the budget? Then we'll receive that as information.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Colin. Okay, next we have Public Works Monthly Activity Report for November. Chris, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor Service, members of council, good evening. So I brought a couple of guests tonight, Ted Marcotte and Teddy Suko, seeing as this will be the last monthly report for Public Works for the year 2025, and I wanted to highlight a few items. as I work through the report. So we'll start with Capital Works Program update with Civic Properties. So as far as the town hall renovation, we should be all complete, everything done December 19th, which is great. I want to thank Ted Marcotte for his support throughout this process. It's been a long journey, but we're almost there. It's really nice to see the front vestibule now with all the glass and the door in place. The accessible push buttons have been installed. So there's a few soffit, siding, tile work to finish up, but we're getting there. So it's really nice to see that project come to completion. Under the Civic Center parking lot, the project is substantially completed. The only item that's left is the delivery of the streetlight poles for the parking lot, and also for the pickleball facility, installation and commissioning of the lighting. That's all that's left for that project. Under water and sewer projects, our water tower rehabilitation. So that project was essentially complete late November, and we were hoping to commission the tower at the end of November, but we were delayed due to the large diameter water main break in the city of Pembroke, which caused us to have to make alterations to our distribution system. There was some good news out of this. We were able to keep all our town residents on water, fully supplied, while having our blended water system from the city of Pembroke interrupted, and also while we were dealing with having one of our water tower reservoirs empty. So kudos and thanks to our staff at Ontario Clean Water Agency. They did a fantastic job. So now, as of today, we were able to restore water from the city to feed McGuire subdivision, which takes care of some of those pressure fluctuations that we were dealing with. And now this week, we're going to move into the disinfection and refilling of the water tower. It is going to take, right now we're looking at next Monday or Tuesday, so around the 16th, to have it fully back online. The reason for that is there's a substantial amount of testing and lab analysis that goes into not only filling it, but the disinfection before they fill it, during the filling, and then even after that, before we start sending that water through the distribution system. It takes a significant amount of time to make sure that everything is safe, so that the residents are getting potable, ready to drink water. So, but we're on the right track, and that project is on budget, which is also great. Disinfection byproduct reduction study is moving along nicely, and we have a progress meeting scheduled for December 15th. We'll keep you up to date on that. Our net zero project, we have some more good news there. Our pre-start health and safety review was completed in November, and there were no significant concerns noted, which is great news. One correction I had December 5th as our submission of our REA amendment through the MECP is actually the 9th. It will be submitted tomorrow. So that, once we have that back from the government, once we have that REA amendment approval, that really is the last item that paves the way for commissioning in 2026. So the REA amendment is the critical step to allow us to complete the secondary containment construction. And then once the secondary containment construction is complete, that was the outlying issue that we needed for the introduction of feedstock. So it's coming together. It's good news. Yes. Okay, under road construction and road infrastructure projects, wanted to thank Christine and Melanie for their help in the Norman Street In and Out project and resolving that private property encroachment issue that we had. It has been dealt with, and our tender is out now, and it closes December 16th. Okay, under PXOs, again, delays on this. It's been frustrating, but we are getting there. December 11th, Pertham is installing the PXO on Herman Street at Dorn. The sign work is all done. The line painting is done. We're just waiting for the poles. And the same for the PXO on Herman Street at the elementary school. So we have the panels, we have the push button curtain fences in stock. Everything's ready to go. We're just waiting on the poles. So as soon as they come in, again, a bit frustrating on those ones, but if we can have them wrapped up under the tree by the end of December, I will be very pleased. So it's coming. So I made a list there of completed projects, and I'm really hoping by the end of December we'll have the PXOs on there, the water tower rehabilitation, and the town hall renovation will all be complete. 2026 planning. An item I forgot to mention. So our 10-year capital infrastructure plan, we'll have it to council in January for a full report. There's one last section that JP2G is working on. I have seen the draft sections up to this point, and I'm really pleased to report that I think when it does come before council, you're going to be very pleased with what you're seeing in the capital plan. A lot of good work that's been done in the past 10 years. And what I've seen is we're in a really great position to meet the demands of the community now and into the future. And our infrastructure is in excellent shape. So it's a position of strength that I'm seeing coming out of the report, which is great. And then as far as further 2026 planning, lots of work with the municipal trade show. Steve Boland is our trade show ambassador. So myself and Steve attended the City of Pembroke Council meeting on November 18th. Steve Boland, along with Jamie Mick, attended the County Council meeting on November 26th. And I will be presenting to the Council of Adams and Bromley on December 18th, and there'll be more presentations to come in January. So we're getting around to all the entities of the county and all of our great municipalities and spreading the word about our trade show. And then in 2026 budget planning, I made a note there of kind of where we're at right now. Preliminary, we're looking at our capital construction projects and costing. We're looking at design works and associated budget planning for 2026. We're looking at possible in-house roadworks. Teddy and I are building preliminary budget estimates for those items. We're looking at fleet replacement prioritization and budget estimates. And then civic properties, Ted's been working with the new building condition assessment and prioritizing capital investments. So great work there. All right, under operations, yes, community engagement. So another tip of the hat to Teddy. It's something we had spoken about earlier in the year, and I had mentioned to Teddy how I'd like to start a community engagement portion in our department, and I love initiative, and there it is in the report, which is fantastic. So Teddy, thank you, great work. Teddy Suko and our heavy equipment operator Brady DeRoche attended Ballard Elementary School on November 7th. And delivered an interactive safety presentation to 4 classes as part of Public Works initiative to promote safe practice around snowplows during winter operations. Presentations were a big success, and we were asked to attend again. So I think this is just the beginning of what we're trying to do as a department. I know there's the paint a plow that we want to get into and name a plow. the mayor's mentioned this to me. But it's a start, so thanks again, Teddy, for looking after that. It's great to see at the department level good outreach, which is fantastic. And also showing these young students that there's a lot of good careers in public works for down the road. So under winter maintenance, you have a little chart there just showing the operations that we've conducted in November. And then under maintenance activities, one correction there, regulatory sign maintenance did not take place in October. That was actually November 1st, 2nd, 6th, 7th, and 9th. My apologies. Under other activities, I think I mentioned at the my last report, but also a follow-up just on the catch basin cleaning. So we cleaned the entire limestone subdivision, 158 catch basins. So that's part of our proactive maintenance programs. Great work by the staff. Okay, under projects, I wanted to flag the issue that we had on Victor Street at Poplar. So this is a long-standing drainage issue that we've been having where road drainage has been impacting the private property. And it's been a concern for a number of years. It's not, it comes and goes. It's based on snow melt in the spring and heavy rain events. But essentially we have dry wells sometimes don't keep up. But again, kudos to Teddy for working with the homeowner, following up meetings, and designing a solution which involved essentially installing an overflow drain using directional drilling, so that when the dry well does fill up, if it can't take all the water, there's now a 4-inch drain that's been installed under the road through an easement and onto the county rail allowance. So it's not, the water's not impacting any private residences anymore. Problem solved, no impact to the road. So again, good work, Teddy. It's always good to, not give up on those issues that you think you maybe can't find a solution, but our department continues to find solutions, and I think the residents really appreciate the fact that we don't give up and we keep working for those common sense solutions. Another item that had come to our department was a request for a new street light at the end of Harry Street at Millennium Trail. So we kind of, again, we knocked off 2 issues here. There wasn't really, in my opinion, sufficient lighting down at our Harry Street lift station. It was kind of dark down there, so an extra street light provided some good lighting to discourage vandalism of our town infrastructure. But at the same time, the new street light provided better lighting for access to the Millennium Trail. So again, a ratepayer concern comes to our department, and we put in a game plan of how to meet those requests of the residents as best we can. We also installed flashing green light signage on behalf of the Petawawa Fire Department, and that's to alert drivers that if they do see a flashing green light, they should yield right away to allow those emergency responders to get to where they want to go quickly. So good work there. Next, on page 21, I put a chart in here on procurement. And this is essentially why Teddy and Ted are here tonight. So in September 2024, we passed bylaw 1685/2024, which was our new procurement policy. And this is a synopsis of all of the procurement that's taken place in the Public Works Department this year and who were the project leads. I should also mention that Don Rakowski had a large role as well in vetting all the documents and sending them out for bids. And now Amanda O'Brien, our new Public Works Administrator, has picked up right where Don left off and is doing a great job of supporting our managers in continuing this. So I wanted to flag just how important this is from an accountability and a transparency standpoint, and how quickly our managers have been able to take the procurement policy and put it into action. And you see it right here with all of these projects being procured, so that we're putting things out properly, we're being accountable, we're being transparent to the ratepayers. And I think Steph Neufeld kind of hit on it when he talked about succession and building leaders. And that's really what I'm trying to do, is build leadership within the department. So hats off to Teddy and Ted for all their work with procurement and getting all these jobs done and following the policy. It's really good work. Okay, so a few other items. The public transportation feasibility study. We had our December 3rd kickoff meeting, which was attended by myself, Don Rakowski, and Amanda O'Brien. So that study is underway. We see that we now have new animal control and parking enforcement services. The tender is out for Norman Street. And also we just completed a surplus equipment sale, which was fantastic. I believe we had 23 items for sale, 21 sold, and we brought in over $18,000 in revenue. So it's great from a housekeeping standpoint. If you're not using the equipment and if we don't need it, let's sell it and get a return on our investment. And then under civic properties, I have flagged great work by Ted Marcon in addressing a concern at the OPP station. They were having issues with their septic and field bed, and this was that system was replaced before winter, so they're in great shape going into the winter season with no plumbing issues, which is important. Then under water, the water report, nothing there that really stuck out as being something to flag. Everything was going along well. Same with the sewage report provided by Brad Sweet. That's my, oh, and also I should mention, Trevor provided some updates on the circular materials, and he's going to come back in January with a more fulsome staff report as this rollout takes place in January 2026. Happy to take questions.
Except on the new circular materials.
Yes, correct.
Questions from members of council? Councilor Roots.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Chris, I just want to say thank you to the whole team out there. What a great, just by looking at the report, and I see the whole team out working around the town, and the comments from everyone about storm removal, about everything that's going on, the involvement, the engagement. I really like that community engagement. Keep that going. But I just want to make a comment because I'm really, really proud of these people out there. Doing a great job. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilor Roots.
Councilor Herman.
Thank you, Mayor Service. I'll echo Councilor Roots' comments. Very good job by the department, and in particular, the water issue, dealing with that and making sure that, you know, with our water tower being offline and then this unexpected event, everything just went seamless and the residents didn't even know.
Perfect.
Well, they knew, but they weren't affected. Thanks, James.
I hope they knew because we were trying to inform them. But you're right, they wouldn't have known. Deputy Mayor Sammer.
Just very quickly, I really like the procurement information because, you know, we get a lot of reports and over the course of the year, I know I certainly can lose sight of all the work and what's been going on. So I appreciate seeing all this. There's certainly a lot going on. And I love the community engagement. I trust that you're talking also about no building snow forts at the end of your driveway. But yeah, that's great, and it'll do a lot in terms of getting kids interested, and you know, it's a fun job, it's a cool job. There's lots of opportunities. So thanks for that.
Further questions or comments? Okay, I'd just also like to echo my congratulations to you, to Ted's, and everybody in the Public Works Department. Ted squared. It really, you really notice it when you drive around town. The roads are always clear, the sidewalks are always clear, the residents are always happy. And thanks for taking care of those personal drainage issues. I know that's not the only one that we've dealt with over the 20-25 years, as you know.
Yes.
But you always go out of your way to help the residents and try and, as you say, come up with a common sense solution so that they don't feel that the work that we've done is impacting their private property. So I think that's great. Just a question about the Herman Dorn PXO crossing. The day that goes in, will that mean that the crossing guard will no longer be needed, or will there be a transition period?
There will be a transition period. So I've already spoken with CEO Colin as well as our finance department to make sure that we have we call that like an overlap period where we maintain the crossing guard as a safety ambassador for a good time frame until all those children are used to the crossing, which was our intention anyways and earlier in the school year if it had gone in earlier. So we'll we're looking at extending this the crossing guards contract for a time into 2026.
Okay, perfect. And I wanted to make sure that everybody got used to using the PXO. And the new sidewalk we installed that goes down the drive across from Herman Street to the overflow parking lot, I'll call it. And are we maintaining this? Yes. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. And one last question about the accessible movement. Is it in use, or what's going on with the accessible movement?
Over to Don.
Thank you. Mayor Service, we had just on Friday, I believe, the decals were completed. I was in meetings all day today, but I do plan to connect with Care for this week so they can inspect it and try and get it into service and be using that for more single appointments and our other van for larger group appointments for events, I should say.
So just so I understand, it's going to be working in conjunction with our larger van, and Care for will provide the driver and do all of the administrative work.
Yes, so Care for Yes is on contract till the end of March 27, and we'll be looking at hopefully extending that for a couple more years for Care for.
Perfect. So that's great news for our community now that we have an additional form of accessible transportation available for all of our residents in need. That's great. Okay, any further questions? All right, I need a motion to accept the report. Moved by Councillor Coutu, seconded by Councillor Roots, that the Public Works Monthly Activity Report be accepted as information. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. And now you can hit us with your 3 budgets.
Okay, so the transportation budget, I think I gave a pretty good synopsis at the last monthly report, so nothing's really changed. The only item that, of course, you councillors would be seeing and flagging is, of course, the Black Bay Road project, which is over budget. But as I explained at the last meeting, we have a plan in place to address that with some underspends and some O&M budgets, as well as some capital projects that we did not move forward on. So that should be taken care of, and it is still my hope and in communications with finance, we're hoping to avoid using that $80,000 from the OSIF money for the guardrail costs. I think we'll be able to not need to dip into that. So that's the intention there. But as far as the rest of the budget, I think we're in good shape. Again, it's deceiving at the end of the budget for transportation because it shows that we're at 102% of the budget spent. But that's not actually the case. It has to do with the financing for the Public Works Edition is throwing off those numbers. So essentially, if you look at expenses, we're 79% of the budget spent, and with capital, we're around 54% of the budget spent. So we're still in good shape as we come to the end of the fiscal year.
Thanks. Questions on the transportation market? Okay, we'll receive that as information and go to sewage system budget.
Okay, so as far as the sewage system budget, again, no big flags there. We're looking good with our expenditures so far this year. I don't see any big concerns. Happy to take questions though if council has anything they'd like to know.
Questions on the sewage? We'll receive that as information as well and go to waterworks.
Yeah, everything's looking good with the waterworks budget as well as we come to the end of the year.
Questions on the waterworks? Okay, looks like we're in good shape. Thanks again, and we're looking forward to Trevor's report on the new Blue Box program. I got to tell you, it looks pretty promising. Yes, on paper. The fact that they're collecting so many more classifications of items, and it appears that it's going to roll out seamlessly and work even better for all of the residents on the border. But I guess we'll wait till Trevor tells us that.
Yes, I think there's concerns, but I like to be the optimist, and I think with anything we'll find our way through it, and it'll work. In the end, it's just going to take a learning curve here in 2026. And one last item before I sign off, Councillor Roots, you asked about the outdoor rink.
Mm-hmm.
So Ted.
Thank you.
Hi, our staff has been working, getting off the Christmas lights. They've been also working on repair of the boards as that rink itself is coming to the end of its life cycle. So there'll be significant cost coming forward to maintain it or move it, one of the two. But yeah, as the ground gets colder, we'll be able to start flooding anytime. Probably in the next few days, if it stays cold, we'll get up there and start flooding and getting it organized. For volunteers, as we have a new volunteer program that rolled out this year, we'll be able to have volunteers work the weekends and help keep it maintained because our staff use a Nemboni that we have out there for the flooding. So we don't need volunteers to flood manually with the hose. just other than weekends, people go out and shovel the ice off and have it ready for use.
Councillor Ruth.
Thank you. Thank you for that update. I'm glad to hear the Zamboni still working out there and in fair shape. Yes, because there's always, that rink is always in that area. They seem to really like that outdoor rink, and there's always a lot of community people that maybe we can engage if there is any work to be done. There's people who would always like to contribute in some ways, and either replacing the boards or donating poles or whatever. There's always a group out there that always wants to help. Just something to keep in mind as well. Thank you.
Thanks for the update on the upcoming. Okay.
All good?
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have Planning and Development Monthly Activity Report for November. Melanie.
Good evening. So starting with the Planning and Development Monthly Report, you can see in your report in your package, we presented quite a few reports in November. Too bad Chris left because planning's winning the number of reports for the second year in a row.
You heard that.
In November, we also had a lot of opportunities for education and professional development. We attended a couple webinars with the Ontario Association of Committees of Adjustment. They had a webinar series on different topics. Town staff also met with MPAC staff, so we reviewed a number of different topics, data sources, how can we use that data for doing data analysis, for reports, what's new in their software, that kind of thing. We met with Watson and Associates to make sure we had good grasp of the changes to development charges legislation, for which we had 3 days notice. Templeman, our municipal law firm, they also offered to come up and meet a number of us in person. So we had a session with them and we reviewed kind of what our challenges are with enforcement and some property and building issues. And they also reviewed some recent legislative changes. And so good news for council, all of that was done free of charge. So a lot of education with no cost to the town for any of that. We also on November 24th held our first Backyard Chickens ad hoc committee meeting. We have since had our second ad hoc committee meeting last Friday. So staff is now working on putting together all the recommendations that came out of that committee. And we'll have a draft bylaw for council in January. So it was, the committee meetings were good. There's a lot of information, a lot of sharing, and we've come up with, I think, some good recommendations to bring to council in January. One other thing in the report I will mention is at the last committee and council and committee meeting, Councillor Carmody had asked about draft approvals. We extend them every year. Council never says no. Why can't that time be longer? I had mentioned that the extensions were provincially driven, which is true. It comes from the Provincial Planning Act. But I just took that a little farther after the council meeting and looked into it a little further. When the County of Renfrew received approval authority for subdivisions, they also received the authority to determine what that extension time period is. So I reached out to the county planning department to see if they were considering lengthening out that time period at all. And I did include their response in the report, but basically is they don't see a need to extend that extension period at this time. They mentioned that it's consistent with many municipalities in Ontario, and the idea is to kind of keep development moving. It's approved under a certain set of rules and policies and servicing capacity. And so the idea is to keep development moving. And so that is why they feel the 12-month extension period is still appropriate. I just wanted to mention I did look into that a little further. In Appendix A, the active planning applications, It's there for your information, but I did want to point out that the Point subdivision on Black Bay Road was draft approved by the county in November. So we have another draft approved subdivision, so they'll work on meeting those conditions now to move forward. But that's an important step for that subdivision. And then in Appendix B, pretty self-explanatory. Overall number of permits for this year is already higher than last year. Building permit value isn't quite as high yet as last year, but we're tracking pretty close to normal for the last few years in terms of number of permits and building permit fees. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions on the planning report? Councillor Coutu.
Thank you, Mayor Service. Less a question, more a comment, but just also a thank you to the planning department for engaging so much on the chicken bylaw. It's those meetings, I realize Councillor Donovan and Councillor Driscoll are here to second what I'm saying, so hopefully you don't disagree, but it was very productive, very informative, very collegial. It was a great way to exchange ideas in real time, to workshop solutions, to think things through. And I really think that the process is going to be something that this council will support, but also that will really serve both the residents who want chickens and the residents who are apprehensive about chickens. So that's my comment. Thank you, Naomi.
Councillor Kerry.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor Service. And just wanted to say thank you, Melanie, for presenting the report and for following up on that question that I had. And even though it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, it seems to me that after 12 months, you've got this administrative task to do that if you somehow overlook it or fail to do it, your development stops. It doesn't help speed it along or smooth the rails or grease the rails in any way. But however, we won't belabor the point.
And thanks for you and your department and all of the work that they do on top of all your regular planning duties and building permits and everything else that you do. You had the time this year to update quite a few bylaws, and I don't think you could have done that solo. So it's great that you have a group of three working on all that, the bylaw work as well as your regular duties. So great job in 2025. Okay, if everybody's good, I need a motion. Moved by Councillor Roots, seconded by Councillor Coutu, that the Planning and Development Monthly Activity Report be accepted as information. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Okay, next we'll go to PL-38-2025, Site Plan Application for PJL Investments Incorporated, part of Lot 22 and 23, Concession 5, being Part 2 on 49R-19365 Industrial Avenue. Ellen.
All right, so this is another parcel in the industrial park. Back in April, Christine and I presented a report to council about an offer to purchase a piece of land in the industrial park. It is adjacent to a mini storage establishment that the owner already owns and operates in the industrial park. So this particular property has over 62 meters of frontage on Industrial Avenue. It's about 2.74 acres in area. The intention is to develop a mini storage establishment, and one of the buildings has an office. So 5 buildings in total, 4 of them strictly storage, 1 storage, plus a 2-story office space. And that particular building also includes indoor private parking for the office use. In reviewing the official plan and zoning bylaw, the proposal meets both as presented. No amendments are required. A couple things to mention about the site plan, which was included in your package. The parking lot is gravel, which is standard practice in the industrial park. The parking spaces have been provided at the rear of the property, and there was much discussion with the proponent about that. Was that the best place for the parking? Could we move it to the front of the property? Hence, we see the change with the private indoor parking for the office use. It's a bit unconventional, but the office use is not public. It's for the family business, so it's family members using the office. So those indoor parking spaces will be used for the office use. Later in the report, you'll see I mentioned that if there is ever an intention to lease or have members of the public frequently attending the office space, then there is a clause in the development agreement that we have to reconsider the parking and get some parking out closer to the office use or open up those indoor spaces for public use. Because of this, we haven't included the private indoor parking spaces in the calculation of number of required parking spaces, so that's still met over and above the indoor spaces. There's some loading spaces, some bicycle spaces. The development will be on municipal water, private septic system. Areas have been set aside for snow storage and garbage collection. The plan includes stormwater management infrastructure, which Public Works have approved. So all various town departments were circulated and all the comments from the various town groups have been resolved. So I mentioned about the indoor parking, and then there's also another clause in the development agreement about compaction. So the accessibility committee had included a recommendation that the gravel surface between the parking area and the office use be compacted for those that might have movement challenges. And so there is a note on the site plan about compaction, and that is also a clause in the development agreement, just so it's not lost in the drawings. So in conclusion, the proposed site plan to permit the construction of a mini storage establishment and office is appropriate in terms of planning, policy, and zoning provisions. Therefore, staff recommends that council support the site plan, conditional on entering into the site plan development agreement with the town, and then following through with the purchase of land process in the industrial park. So the next step in the land sale process, if council is happy with the site plan, is for us to post a declaration of surplus land and notice of proposed sale in the newspaper for 3 consecutive weeks. And then we would bring the land sale back to council for your approval. And
Sorry.
no, I was just going to point out the attachments, the site plan, and all the various engineering drawings are there. The proposed development agreement is there as well, which is a template, but the items specific to each development are in item 12. So you'll see there the 2 clauses, one about the compaction and one about the office use. And there's a copy of the survey plan, and then the overall industrial park concept plan showing which lot we're talking about. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I just have one quick question. Because the owner already has a storage facility located adjacent to it, is there anything in this agreement that would allow the person to connect the 2 lots, or is it always going to be 2 separate entities with 2 separate driveways?
It is being set up as 2 separate entities at this time. The way they've developed the storage units, there is a possibility of going into the adjacent property, but they will have to amend their site plan on the existing property if they do that, because the connection point is where they have appointed their snow storage. So it's possible, but it's kind of not on the table right now.
Okay, so it's not anything that's been discussed. And just one other question. I know this is the first time I've heard of dedicated car storage. Is that something new and novel to the industry in Petawawa, or do we have other places that allow car storage?
So we discussed that with the proponent, and it is a market opportunity. There are people with kind of summer cars, or they're away on deployment and they want their cars secure. So it is something that they identified as is in demand.
Okay, thanks. I'll open it up to questions. Councillor Carmen.
Thank you, Mayor Service. Just a question about the newspaper reporting. There's only one in the area now, the Petawawa Post, so is that where we advertise?
We advertise in the weekly, the Pembroke Observer that comes with the flyers.
Okay.
That is the newspaper. We need to, on the list of bylaws, to update the notice of land sale bylaw. Needs to allow us to do other things other than newspaper advertisement, but currently that's the way the bylaw is written.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions on the report? Okay, if everybody's comfortable then, I need a motion. Moved by Deputy Mayor Sabrin, seconded by Councillor Carmody. The council supports site plan approval for PJL Investments Incorporated on condition that the owner enters into a site development agreement with the town and the transfer of lands is completed in accordance with the declaration of surplus lands. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. And next we'll go to your budget, Melanie.
All right, so looking at the planning and zoning budget first, we're about 92% of the year complete, and you see in the revenue line, we're a little less than expected. So our budget was based on a 3-year rolling average. So we've had a few less planning applications this year than the 3 years previous. So revenues are a little less than expected. And then if you look down at the expenses are less than expected as well. One big reason for that is we had a planner vacancy for a few months, so we saved in all those people costs. So when you put the revenues and the expenses together, looks like we're going to come in a little under budget for this year.
It's always good to hear a director say that. We're coming in under budget this year. Any questions on the budget? And we'll receive that one for information and go to the building.
So in the building budget, remember we've spoken about this before, the goal is always to be cost neutral, so the permit fees should cover our cost to have our building inspectors. And and another note is the building permits that you see in the revenue line, that's the permit portion of when people come in and pay for a building permit, they pay for the permit and they also pay development charges. So you'll see on the chart in my monthly report, the building permit fees are actually building permit plus development charges. That's why these two numbers don't match. This is just the building permits. So revenues actually exceed what we had budgeted for. So we've actually taken in more permits than the last 3-year average. And then if you look down at expenses, we're actually less than we budgeted for as well. Some savings in salary, again, the last quarter having one vacancy. So overall, we had budgeted for a kind of a minor expense, not being completely cost neutral this year. However, it also looks like we'll be close to or under budget in the building department.
2 budgets in a row under budget. That's very impressive. Any questions on the building budget? And we'll receive that as information as well. Thank you very much, Melanie. Okay, next we have the Economic Development Monthly Activity Report for November. Christine?
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. So this is the Economic Development Monthly Report for the month of November. No commercial business circulations and 1 home-based business circulation, crossroad services. Movement, as noted, on the industrial park with a subsequent report that recently went to council earlier this month. I am following up on the community improvement plan and trying to close the various approved projects that are eligible to be closed in this current fiscal year. So following up with the various proponents. Unfortunately, not every project will get completed. It's just out of their control based on contractor service and servicing availability, but we are closing as many as is possible. Ongoing business engagements. as always, including meeting with representatives from the Tiny Town Association and Packed Homes, and following up with developers on a previously conducted site visit and a land package review process. Again, Retail B within the Petawawa Boulevard program, we are having ongoing communications with that developer who has an option for development on that piece of land. So it's an ebb and flow situation. It's not an all or nothing, but we continue to support them. In terms of communication marketing, we continue to post our constant contact pages. We update our Petawawa Business Advisory Network pages. We worked hard on the holiday tailgate program and the Business Vendor Expo. Speaking of the Business Vendor Expo, we hosted that on November the 1st. It's our third year hosting the Veteran Business Vendor Expo. We had more than 220 people complete a door prize ticket. We had 10 door prizes to give away to the participants, and it's just an excellent expo in terms of showcasing our military entrepreneurs within the Renfrew County community. They're not just specifically the town of Petawawa, but open it up. More than 50 vendors are invited to the opportunity to participate. So it's an ever-growing list. Very exciting that it is. And the community really does come out and support these entrepreneurs. Certainly there was some more challenge this year with deployment and training and different things that were happening that would have impacted the volume of veteran entrepreneurs who could have participated, but it's still a well-received event and one that certainly aligns with our existing and our future economic action strategy. Lots of ongoing work with the Upper Ottawa Valley Chamber of Commerce, our PBAN, meeting to discuss and prepare the RFQ for the comfort station, senior staff meeting, the relocation of the office. So Rudy and I are finally out of the basement and on the main level of the municipal office for the first time since the Economic Development Department existed, which has always been in the basement. Very exciting times. Continuing to work with Anya on the preparation for the call for artwork for the Petawawa letter sign. Petawawa letter sign fabrication was awarded. It is delayed because we didn't proceed with the in and out, which was the material was to create the base. Everything is moving forward and planned for the early portion of 2026. I had the opportunity to participate in MPAC training session and spent a lot of time in the month of November also working on the economic action strategy, which is going to be the next topic of discussion. We had a town staff managers meeting, and of course there was the opportunity to attend the Economic Development Summit hosted by Renfrew County and Renfrew County Community Futures Development Corporation. And that is my report for the month of November.
Thank you, Christine. Questions on the report? I noticed you're very pleased and excited to be out of the basement, but sitting beside you is Brad, who's the only person left in the basement. Deputy Mayor Sapp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I feel they've earned their right to come into the light, so good luck, Brad.
Thank you.
The only thing that I do want to say is with respect to the holiday Christmas tailgate market and the Santa Claus parade, of course, Colin left and I thought of that as well. Wow, what a great day, what a great event. And I have to say, I just think those vendors are fantastic, and Council Coutu often talks about all the finds that she gets there, and I found like 6 Christmas presents that were very, very unique, and so well done. It was really a lot of fun. Thanks again.
Further questions? Councillor Coutu.
Thank you, Mayor Service. Just because you brought it up, I just wanted to mention the Veterans Expo. What I've noticed from years of going again and again and again, that it's become a happening, and a lot of it is about the vibe there. So with the music and the food and the coffee and the treats and just the nonstop changing parade of vendors who are there and just the overall vibe of supporting those who serve us. So just to shout out, I know it's a long time ago now, November 1st, but if I haven't told you before, thank you for reaching out to that community, which is a big part of our community, and giving our residents a chance to come out and support them.
Further questions or comments? Yeah, I guess we'll bring up the Christmas parade and the Christmas tailgate market and everything all at once. I hope Colin's rushing home to watch this on YouTube so that he can hear us sing his praises, but I think it might have been the biggest Christmas parade on record that I can remember anyways, and the amount of people that were in the tailgate market and the holiday market, I was only there, from around 7:30 to 8, but I understand they were there most of the day. It was great to see our ice carver back again. He was a big hit. He's good. And I'll call it phase 3 of our Christmas Trail of Lights. I think it got a lot of comments, and there were a lot of people taking pictures in the Trail of Lights. So it's really become a huge event, not only in Petawawa, but as you said earlier, you talked to a lot of people who came from Ottawa and from further afield, coming all the way to Petawawa to experience what we're offering at Christmas. So I think it's great. So great work on that. And now that I said that, I forgot everything I was going to say. The veteran market, I think, and I'll echo what Councillor Couture said, but what I'm noticing as a longtime resident of Petawawa, that more and more veterans are choosing to stay here after they retire. And that's why I think we're seeing more and more veteran businesses being established in Petawawa. So it's great to see that after a long career serving our country, they're choosing our community to stay in. Not only just to retire, but to open businesses and support our community even further in that way. So I think it's great to see that as well. Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, I need a motion to accept the report. Moved by Councillor Roots, second by Councillor Carmody, that the Economic Development Monthly Activity Report be accepted as information. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Next, we'll go to ED-25-2025. The Economic Action Strategy. Very exciting to see this coming forward, Christine.
So yes, this culminates the BRNE process that the department engaged with this year. Part of that, the Rural Economic Development Funding application, part of that portfolio was that the engagement and the outcomes of the BRNE be considered in an update to the Economic Action Strategy. And so this is exactly what staff have done. Our original Economic Action Strategy, I brought it, this great big document right here, was done and adopted by Council in March of 2018. It predated my role as in economic development. I was working for the municipality at the time, but predated this particular role. So it's very nice to have a strategy that I've had direct input into and can see the realization of the various goals and priorities. Not that we didn't realize goals and priorities from the 2018 Economic Action Strategy, but certainly something that that we feel ownership for. The document was provided within the council package, but it is also on display here. I do not want to read out every piece of detail related to it, but we do have it, and we will flip through it as we go through this discussion. The COVID-19 certainly did alter some of the priorities that were identified in the previous Economic Action Strategy. For example, the implementation of the Community Improvement Plan. We learned early on that it was a miss of an opportunity within the community to be able to provide a community improvement plans and specific funding supports under a designated program under the authority of council by bylaw. And so one of the things that we did do was create a community improvement plan. We've now been running that program for 5 years. And as you will see in the economic action strategy, and I have been saying it all year long, we are now moving to a review of that particular program because we have real-time data, we have real engagement, we have real information that leads us to say that we need to update it to make it even more accessible to our business community who are really engaged with the program. That's just one of many, many actions. The updated economic strategy, we specifically made it for a 3-year period to keep it more tangible, to be able to report to council on a more regular basis, and to keep it evolving as the times and situations change. So it is a 3-year plan moving forward. It was developed through extensive community engagement, including interviews, surveys, focus groups, and input from the 2021 Community Improvement Plan, the 2024 First Impression Community Exchange Program that we participated in, the 2024 rebranding exercise, the 2025 wayfinding consultations and design work engagements, and of course accumulating with the 2025 BRE program. So the strategy reflects a broad and current understanding of the local needs and opportunities for our business community members. And the strategy is organized around 4 overarching goals and priorities, supported by a 4-23-43 framework of strategic pillars, objectives, and action plans. Yeah, you can go ahead, Brad, you're doing great. Just go on, yeah, exactly. So the methodology is explained within the action strategy and references the inputs. So the 4 overarching goals or actions, priorities, will be to support and retain, to strengthen and expand existing businesses, attract, facilitate new investment and job creation, grow, support workforce development and housing solutions, and connect, advance branding, marketing, and communication tools. Within those 4 priorities, there's sub-actions which have been identified, again, through consultation, through ongoing work, through work that didn't get completed because other priorities were pushed to the forefront. And within each of those goals, we do have a task team as well as a time frame within the 3-year window to start, achieve, or re-engage each of those strategies. I do want to refer back to the fact that some of these strategies, because you are seeing them again in this current action plan, does not mean we didn't action them from the 2018 action plan. From the 2018 action plan, just as a quick highlight, branding, wayfinding, having a readily available listing of commercial properties and lands, coming up with a communication plan to connect with businesses, whereby we do the e-business news post twice a month. A town center where we developed the first tree lighting ceremony and had engagement from the community to start the Trail of Lights and a further merry and bright engagement, because that was what the business community wanted to see. We supported trail connectivity to the Algonquin Trail system, supporting a lot of the active transportation, documentation, and early engagement. We created a robust and ever-evolving community profile. We did an investment concierge service, so our department is really the entry point to engagement from a business perspective, certainly supported by the entire town team. But as a single point of entry and as a single point of engagement, then businesses have that focus that can support them. Target boutique opportunities. Certainly we have filled a lot of commercial space that was once available within the town, and we created the concept for the container market and the redevelopment of Norman Street back in 2019, and we've been evolving that plan ever since. We pivoted with the container market to do the pilot project, which is currently in play, and we now have real-time stats and data related to the viability of that particular project. We also used it to rehabilitate that underdeveloped parcel of land within the town that continues to benefit. Post-military supports was a big recommendation out of the original economic action strategy. And of course, the Veteran Expo and the Veteran Business Recognition Program that we do with the banners and the social media during the month of November is an outcome of that engagement. We, of course, conducted our BRE, which was a recommendation out of this particular strategy, as well as collaborating and hosting workshops through our Business Connects and utilizing our resource partners. And one of our big ones was the creation of an ambassador program and engagement with the business community, through which we created the Petawawa Business Advisory Network, and we engage with them on a monthly basis, ongoing now for, well, since 2019. So wonderful actions that have been realized and will continue to be realized as part of this ongoing 2026 to 2029 action plan. As I said, I don't think we need to go through every point of what's in the economic action strategy. It was in the package and it is readily available. The easy reference chart and the streamlined document, so beautifully prepared by Ruby Cadlick, who is a true gem and a visual artist, and very happy to have him on my team.
Thank you, Christine. A lot of work obviously went into this, and it's going to be very exciting to see it roll out over the next 3 years. And yeah, if you hadn't said that Rudy designed all of this and did all the graphic work, you would have thought it was, you know, we paid thousands of dollars to a consultant and a designer to do this, so it's great that that's all done in-house. Okay, I'll open up Councillor Carmody.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Service, and thanks for bringing this report to us tonight, Christine. And I have to agree, it was one of the first things I thought about this report. Oh, cow, this is just the facts. Like, just laid out there so nicely and very, very well prepared document. Like one of the better plans that I've ever come across in my time here. So, my congratulations to Ruby, if you can pass that along. I'm sure he had direction from he didn't do it all on his own, but he's clearly got some MS Word skills or something there, because it's very nicely done. And obviously a word about the content too. It looks like a very solid plan.
Deputy Mayor Sadler.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I really like that it's a 3-year plan as well. I think it allows opportunity to respond to the dynamics involved, but also the fluidity that you've got to deal with. And I really like the 4 pillars. I think they're absolutely excellent. I love the way that they connect to one another and build on one another. And so I think this has got an awful lot of meat to it that will allow for a very healthy, strong, vibrant business community now and well into the future. Thanks so much.
Further questions or comments? Councillor Roots.
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor, and we've seen this at the PBAN meeting and I made some comments there. I just love it. I like that it's so friendly to actually get a good visual of everything and the plan and priorities and goals for the future. And it's very easy to navigate and have a good understanding where we're at, and where we came from, and what's been accomplished. Thank you.
Councillor Kutcher.
Thank you, Mayor Service. Thank you sincerely, Christine. Thank you to Rudy. When I was reading this document after everybody, I was like, yes, do that. So this amazing fail to plan, if the plan fails, the opposite, does the plan succeed? What an amazing roadmap that you have laid out. So thank you sincerely for blazing such a strong path towards success for the existing businesses, for new businesses, for employers, for employees. This is the whole map. So thank you so much. I can't wait to watch it happen.
You should be very proud, you and Rudy, because you don't often hear that many glowing reports from a group of people. And I have to say, like normally an entity like a municipality would go out and spend $25, $50, $80,000 on consultants to do this when we did it in-house. So not only was it well done and well presented, but it was done with our own resources here at the town of Petawawa. So congratulations.
I do want to thank the senior leadership team because we did discuss it twice at senior leadership and twice with the PREN community. We had budgeted $28,850 in this year's budget to complete the BRE program. And all told, because we did do a lot of this work in-house, the cost of the project was actually $13,500. So we realized a significant savings.
And I have to say that, like Councillor Coutu, I'm very excited about all of the goals that are laid out here. It's all great for the town of Petawawa. I'm also very interested in your renewal or reevaluation of the SIP program, which is especially important now that the county has rolled out their complete program. And as we know, Petawawa has been able to leverage the HYPE program to help, add some substance and some funds to our program. So I think it's great that we're going to take a look at how we can, I guess, adapt our program to fit the HYPE and leverage the dollars that they're providing to the county. So that's great. Okay, if everybody's happy, and I think we are, I need a motion. Moved by Councillor Coutu, seconded by Councillor Roots, that council endorses the Economic Action Strategy 2026 to 2029 and utilizes its strategies to guide future decisions and support staff in implementing or achieving the outlined priorities. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. And now we'll go to your budget.
So I will just highlight, in the circulation package, there was, it looks like there was $29,000 or something in the container market revenues. It was an inappropriation of some funding that went in there. We are at $19,303, so we are exceeding our planned budget, and we do have additional funds from the holiday market to go in there. But that $9,000 was reallocated to recreation, culture, and tourism, which is where it was earned. Otherwise, pretty much on par. We did a lot of work in-house that in the past when I was a solo act we couldn't always do. So being two, there's certainly a better scope of work that can be done and savings that can be realized. Again, the Petawawa letter sign project we will carry forward because the work and the RFQ has been engaged. The BRE we will see a savings. The Norman Banking Hall project continues with multiple departments in play for that particular thing. And again, we've already spoken about branding implementation at this point being a complete project.
Any questions on the budget? And you will receive that as information. Thank you very much, Christine. Next, we have Finance, FIN-23-2025, the November 2025 expenditure report. Paula.
Good evening, Mayor and Councillors. Tonight I'm delivering the November 2025 expenditure report. The recommendations before me were the check numbers 6,580 to 6785, totaling $3,320,623.96 to be approved by Council. Back in the early 25, the staff has reverted to report to the Council the list of checks issued for the month. In this analysis, we have a high-level summary for November 2025. The number of vendors paid were 166. The total dollar amount of checks issued again was $3,320,623.96. The average dollar value per check issued was $16,119.53. The total number of invoices paid was 589. The average dollar value per invoice issued was $5,637.73, and the number of vendors that were paid over $100,000 was 9. So the analysis of the vendors paid over 100,000 were the first Bonshire Excavating for upgrades to Black Bay Road progress payment number 1 for $608,115.49, as well as the holdback for the 2025 Petawawa resurfacing. The holdback release was $26,377. The second one was C3 Industrial for the water tower rehabilitation progress payment 1 for $451,293.68. The third is Image Masonry for $379,341 for the grit tank relining for the wastewater treatment plant progress payment 1. Then we have McCray Excavating for $268,647.03 for the Portage Road Phase 3 maintenance holdback release of $30,867.50, as well as the Pinehurst Estates Sanitary Upgrades Progress Payment number 1 for $237,779.53. Then we have Ontario Clean Water Agency for their monthly contract for water and sewer services of $218,327.96. Number 6 is Thomas Cavanaugh Construction for $198,188.44 for the municipal building renovations progress payment 4. Then we have the Minister of Finance Policing for our monthly, for October 2025 policing services of $150,172 even. 8 is Borough Fence and Guide Rail for $125,537.35 guide rail repairs. And then we have Miller Waste Systems at $114,452.20 for the typical fiber organics recycling and waste collection, as well as the leaf and yard waste in October. The checks have been processed and issued to ensure the council is informed of the expenses incurred in the month and to help ensure transparent and fair, effective governance through reporting to public and council. Any questions?
Any questions on the expenditure report? Deputy Mayor Sadler.
I know you asked for questions, but I'm going to give a comment instead. I really, really like this report, and I think it's very, very transparent. And if anybody wants to know where our money's going, it's real clear. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Further questions on the report? Okay, if you're comfortable, I need a motion to approve the bills. Moved by Deputy Mayor Sabrin, seconded by Councillor Carmody, that check numbers 6580 to 6785 totaling $3,320,623.96 be approved by council. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Thanks, Paula.
Thanks, Paula.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the Legislative Services Monthly Activity Report for November. Dawn is at the mic this month.
So we have combined together, Colin and myself, for our Legislative Services Monthly Report. I'll be reporting on typically the bylaw enforcement, false alarms, and Colin will be reporting on HR meetings. So animal control is a very slow month for November. Just 2 stray cats, 1 dog barking. Online sales continue for our pet tags. We had 3 parking tickets that were issued. We have a parking complaint on Sally Street, which is now being dealt with our new bylaw enforcement contractor. So just letting you know that is being engaged between myself, MLES, and our planning department. We're coordinating that. We had 4 parking tickets paid and 1 that was paid with late renewal. 1 warning issued for burning without a permit, and a noise complaint on Greenvale Crescent, which again has been transferred to our new bylaw enforcement contractor also. And we had 9 false alarms. These were all OPP security alarms. Next month I'll be catching up on our false fire alarms.
Thank you, Dawn.
Continuing on with the monthly report, under human resources, they're fairly busy months for our HR coordinator, Jody, and senior staff. We had met twice in the month to review some policy review, which we want to bring to council in the new year. Probably will schedule a meeting specifically to go over policy review. That was one of the initiatives council will recall that was on our strategic plan, and we are finally getting around to it. And there's nobody is more happier in the building than Jody from to get a lot of these things done. We also had a meeting, there was a few meetings in the month for some staffing issues that Jody attended with the various directors in the month. And under recruitment, we arranged and attended interviews for the 3 firefighter positions, and we are currently working on the building inspector. We had candidates lined up, and unfortunately, we missed out and accepted another offer. So we are back to the drawing board with a few of the other candidates, but we hope to have that filled shortly. Under training, there was happy to report that a few staff, myself included, attended the blanket exercise that Councillor Coutu organized at the beginning of November. And I will say that, if I can speak freely for the Deputy Mayor and the Mayor, I think it was an eye-opening experience and one that I think a lot of us will definitely remember for a long time. Under Commissioner votes, we had 24 requests for the month. And under marriage licenses, we had 2 licenses issued for the month, and revenue generated there was $200 for the month. And our community flag program, for the month of November, we had the Remembrance Day flag up for the first 2 weeks in November, and we didn't have anything scheduled for the last 2 weeks. A number of certificates were issued through our department, through the Mayor's office for recognition. There was 13 done in the month, and I listed a lot of the meetings there again. I'm happy to elaborate, but it was in the report. A number of meetings between myself or Dawn and our senior staff that we all took place on. One of them was just highlighting our new meeting for the animal control and parking enforcement new program providers, MLES. We met with them in November, and they were ready to go 1st of December. So that's our report. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Don and Colin. When I saw Stray Cats, I thought it was the 80s band. I thought they were on the loose in Petawawa. I know it's only been a week, but any early reports about our new contractor, MLES?
I think they're working very well. For the most part, we've actioned them to do a few things, and they have responded right away to Don or myself, and so I'm fairly confident that they're going to be very, very good for the town. Like again, I think Don mentioned this before, but the recommendations came very highly, and I think we're seeing that now.
That's good to hear. Questions on the report? Okay, I need a motion then to accept the report. Moved by Councillor Coutu, seconded by Deputy Mayor Sabrin, that the Legislative Services Monthly Activity Report be accepted as information. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. And next we'll go to LEG-13-2025, the January 2026 meeting schedule.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Service. So to accommodate staff and council vacations over Christmas and New Year's, staff is asking if council would consider canceling the first meeting in January, which would be a council meeting of January 5th. We would then proceed with our regular meeting schedule with council committee on the 12th, council on the 19th, and again committee on the 26th. Should the need arise where we do have to have a council meeting, we can host that prior to the council committee meeting on January 12th.
Questions from members of council? Deputy Mayor Simon.
You're really sure you don't want to head together on the 5th? Because I'm really sure I don't. Thank you for the suggestion.
As it was explained to me, there's not a lot of municipal activity over the holidays, so there wouldn't be a lot of bylaws to pass or a lot of actions to be taken on the 5th. So why get together and, I don't want to say waste, but have all the staff put in all that effort for a meeting that would last 15 minutes.
Exactly.
Two back-to-back canceling.
Back to back council.
Okay, if everybody's comfortable, I need a motion. Moved by Councillor Roots, seconded by Councillor Carmody, that council approves the meeting schedule for January 2026 as follows. Monday, January 12th, 2026, council and committee meeting. Monday, January 19th, 2026, council meeting. Monday, January 26th, 2026, council and committee meeting. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. And now we'll have a look at your budgets. Or Colin. Who's doing budgets? Or Paula. Animal control bylaw policing.
So the animal control budget, we're doing well. We don't have as many animal licenses purchased as we anticipated. The leash-free dog part is also at about 50%. Any of the expenses, I'm not seeing in bylaw enforcement operations there. I'm sitting at 74%. The highest here is our pound contract, and we're at 90%, and we're into December at this point. I don't see the rents are right on par. The property maintenance for the OPP station is right on par at 93%. Again, with our service contracts and police services equipment, the services board, we're all well within our range. Salary lines for any of the administration, they may be a little, I'm sorry?
Don't we just have to make sure there's questions on
Oh,
that?
I'm sorry.
Any questions on the animal control bylaw policing? I just have one about the fact that the licensing fees are lower than expected. Does that mean there's fewer pets in Petawawa, or we just don't have enough of our residents actually licensing their pets?
I would have to say the latter of the two there. Any other questions?
Well, just to comment on that, I guess, do we need to do a better job of getting that information out to our residents? Because we still are a transitional community. So does that mean that all of the new residents, as they move into the town of Petawawa, are either unaware or we're not notifying them well enough? And perhaps is this part of the package that we give to the PMFRC to provide to all of the new military members who are coming into town, that there is a licensing program?
Yeah, that's good. We can definitely look into that and increase our information pamphlets that go out. I can have staff look into that for sure.
I guess one last comment on it. Now that we do have the new animal control bylaw contract in place, it does include the garrison properties. So maybe now that that's in place, there'll be better information given out to the members who live on federal property that pet licensing is a program with the municipality. And I think as part of the program, we have offered our online services to the garrison. Yeah.
Sorry, I can speak to that, Paula. So as of beginning January 1st, yes, the garrison is preparing for their own residents to share our information that yes, then we'll be registering their dogs and cats through DocuPet online as well. So they're very keen and looking forward to having that service expanded to the garrison.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions on that budget? Then we'll receive that as information and go to the administration budget.
So the administration budget is looking quite healthy. We have more revenues in our fines and in our OSIFs, and we're right on par for the PILTs and in residential and commercial properties for revenues. We have the administration salaries, and again, there have been some redirection of the GLs as they would be placed under, so we're working to better align those right now. And we've been reflecting that a little bit more. Sometimes the administration salaries are overlapping with other salaries in similar departments.
So we are pretty much on par for our office equipment maintenance. And we have had quite a renovation go on, and we've had some changes in some of our equipment and things like that. Our health and safety for the town is a very low amount. We haven't had to spend a whole lot. We've done internally a lot more. Staff recognition, again, promotional supplies. The only thing that comes in a little higher is our postage this time around. Again, thanks to the Canada Post strike and trying to get out to different vendors that were not local, which we did reach out to our local vendors and ask if they could come in and pick up and do different arrangements for their payments. So on to the next half, advertising budgets, website. Again, we've been growing as well, and our IT infrastructure and such, and our licensing and different programs, for instance, in economic development and such, that they're using to do such good presentations. We're all benefiting from it, doing shared access to it. So then we're ramping up the municipal elections. We've had a little higher than expected cost there. Insurance, everything is essentially right on par at this point in time. Is there any questions?
Questions on the administration budget? Okay, we'll receive that as information. And finally, the council budget.
That's always good.
So the council budget, again, I will make note, as Deputy Mayor Salvin had mentioned last time I was up, that yes, the honorary and the salaries lines are not, they're offsetting each other. So they are being worked out and realigned. Essentially from that point, we're right on for everything else.
Questions on the council? No. Good job again, council. Keeping things real. We'll receive that as information. Thank you very much, Paula.
Thank you.
There is nothing for general matters. No closed meeting. I need a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Root, seconded by Councillor Carmody, that the meeting be adjourned at the call of the mayor. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Very productive meeting.